Hello and welcome to Take You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I am your host, JP John Paz from the two-man power trip. And of course, joining me, the star of the show, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion, 8-time Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Champion, and one of the greatest trainers ever in the history of the business, the Doctor of Desire himself, Dr. Tom Prichard. Dr. Tom, how you doing today, sir?
John, I'm doing great today, as always. Thank you very much. I know we have a lot to talk about, and I had a great weekend watching everything we're going to talk about.
Yes, little WrestleMania. What did you think of WrestleMania? Just night one, I guess, really. But what did you think overall of the show?
Well, here's what I thought. First of all, the realization that last year we had 2 days of WrestleMania, actually three with the Hall of Fame. The year before that, when was the first time that WrestleMania became 2 nights? Was it last year?
Well, technically 2 years ago when they had nobody in the building was two nights too.
Okay.
So it started
So,
at 36.
right. So it started, did it start at 8 and go till 12? Is that what it was? 4 hour show? Both nights?
Basically three and a half, almost
Okay.
four. Yeah. Yep.
I thought both nights were done
Actually, yeah,
very,
no,
very,
actually 12. You're right. Both shows did end at 12. Yeah, they were both about 4 hours each. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. But, I remember just the times that I did go to WrestleMania, and the one night alone was exhausting for everybody. It's a long night for the crowd, long night for the guys. And now 2 nights. And that's what was hitting me when I started watching the first night. These guys have another night to go. Not the guys on the card, but the crowd, the people. It's going to be in the same place. And I really thought everybody did a hell of a job. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did.
And Jim says night two was better than night one. Interesting. Did you think that too? Do you think night two was better?
I don't know that it was better. It was certainly as intriguing for me when Vince got stunned, and you ended the night with Lesnar and Roman Reigns. But I think it's all just a matter of how you're feeling it. And really, Stone Cold for both nights was perfect. I was hoping that they
Yeah.
would keep him and hold him over, and I knew Steve. I didn't know, but I would suspect Steve would love to fill out um, in the final night with a stunner on Vince or whatever they wanted him to do. I was impressed with Austin going out there and after 19 years taking a
Yes.
suplex on the floor.
Yep.
So yeah, man, it's like you can feel those bumps even more these days. I would think, Steve. But great job.
And we'll get into that even further, and we'll talk about that horrible stunner that Vince took. Vince always took the stunner
What
horrible.
horrible?
Oh, the way he takes the stunner.
Oh, it was tremendous. Yeah, it was excellent. So wait, now that's the way you should take a stunner, boys. But it's good.
I guess Mick Foley's son was recording him during
Mhm.
Mania, and I guess they posted it. I don't know if you saw it. He literally couldn't stop laughing at Vince. You know, the way he took the stunner. It was great. It had I think it had like 1 million views or something. It was crazy.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It should have 1 million views. It should have 2 million views, if you ask me. But yeah.
Great job of typical Vince. You know, typical
Hmm.
Vince. But we'll get into that though.
Yeah.
Obviously, WrestleMania. They said 77,000 one night, then they said 78,000 the next. Don't know how actually accurate that is, but you know, the building was packed both nights. So I mean,
So 73,000 is not more than 93,000, is it?
no, nope.
Okay, just checking because there was 93 in the
Yeah, Silverdome.
Silverdome, right? Oh, okay. I counted every seat that night, by the way.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh,
So
Dr. Tom, I want you to come to Toronto and do a seminar. Interesting. All right. What do you think? Toronto? Have you ever been to Toronto? Well, I guess in a while it's been
I've
since you've
been,
been
yeah,
to
I just haven't
Toronto.
been in a
Yeah.
while. Well, I tell you what, Mike, email me at jpwrestlingacademy@gmail.com and I will let you know what we can do to make that happen. I think last year, whenever it was, the reason we weren't doing Toronto, or the reason I wasn't going to Toronto or going out of the country was yeah, they had the quarantines and stuff whenever that was going on, and I don't know. But email me at jpwrestlingacademy@gmail.com. Attention, Dr. Tom.
Hmm.
Subject line.
There you go, Mike. Yep.
Cool.
Rob Jones. Thank you, Rob. Nice.
What exactly does that mean that Rob just did?
That was the arm, like the muscle.
Well, I know, but what does that mean? I mean,
Like you're flexing, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
what are you thanking him for flexing?
Yeah,
I'm
thank
just
you, bro.
asking. Fantastic. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure.
Oh, he
You,
said he
you put,
has. Mike Clark says he
okay,
has emailed
do
you.
it again and say that we've talked on taking you to school. You put that in taking you to school. Put that in the subject line, and I'll
There you go.
catch it tomorrow. There you go.
Oh, okay, thanks. All right, there you go.
Cool.
Nice.
Fantastic. Hey, this live interaction is working pretty good for us. So
Yeah, I like that. So when obviously WrestleMania happens, they do all the pomp and circumstance. You get the Star Spangled Banner. You get all that nonsense, everything out of the way. The first match, Usos defeated Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs and retained the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. What do you think about this match? Because obviously Boogs got injured and they had to kind of change gears, but I thought it was headed to a pretty good match up until that point.
I did too. I really did too. I've always loved the Usos, and I have come to Nakamura and Boogs have kind of grown on me too. And I thought in the beginning when the Usos got up for the squat that was supposed to be a spot because I thought Boogs went down and then he sold his knee and I thought, oh, what's this kind of a weird spot? Then went outside and sold the knee and I thought, where are they going here? Oh, they just pinned Shinsuke Nakamura. And then I thought, that was kind of flat. I wasn't quite sure. But anyway, I liked all four guys. I really did. And I hate when people get hurt like that because that's what people are going to remember. At least that's what, when I say people, the guy who gets hurt, that's what he's going to remember is his WrestleMania flashback or moment or whatever you want to call it. But good match starting out. But again, be ready for the unexpected. And boy, I don't think they expected that. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not. Boogs is a freak of nature, just strength wise. I mean, I've seen him literally like twirl guys around, throw them around. I guess it's just he was standing there awkwardly, and they both jumped on him kind of at the same time, and I guess it just buckled.
Yeah, and that happens. So and it just takes one time. So too bad it happened, especially on that stage. Well, too bad it happened. Period. Wherever you are, you don't want that to happen.
And I know, obviously, the Usos dating back to some FCW time, some
Yeah.
training back in FCW.
Great to see those guys being featured right along with Roman Reigns, coming to the ring with him, just getting that rub because they've always had the talent, and now they're getting a chance to reap the benefits, and more power to them, all of them.
And they got another younger brother in NXT.
Yeah, talented family, very talented family. So they're going to keep rocking for years and years to come.
Next up, Drew McIntyre defeats Happy Corbin. What do you think about this one? Actually, it was better than I thought it was going to be, and the crowd was pretty into it. Corbin is he's pretty over as a heel, Baron, aka Happy Corbin.
I like Happy Corbin. I like Drew McIntyre, and I read something the next day about he did away with an entrance because he wanted to come out, and I don't know if it was save time, whatever it may be. But you're right, Drew didn't need all the extra stuff to stay over, get over, and got a great reaction from the fans. I mean, I was watching Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss over the weekend, and they're one of those teams that will grow on you as well, I think. And two big goofs having fun, and then they kind of they'll be baby faces before too long too, and maybe they already have. Hell, I don't know. But once again, as far as the entertainment part of it, Drew McIntyre, he is a monster. I mean, he is a Scottish psychopath, and I don't know Happy Corbin that well, but I have talked to him a couple times, and it seems like a great guy. Seems like he's having fun with it. I saw some of that storyline come out, and as long as they're making the best of it, that's all you can ask for right now, because WrestleMania is what everybody looks towards, and if you can draw 70,000 people on both nights, you're doing something right. And if you can get on that card, then again, you're doing something right. That's what I think.
I have a feeling Vince loves those jokes. Those corny jokes that Corbin and Moss always say. Because you said, I remember you told me Vince loved the Lawler joke. So I bet you he loves those jokes.
Why not? What's there not to love? I mean, that's what I mean. You got a couple guys who, if they can just keep doing what they're doing and find a way to stay relevant, again, do what you got to do, guys. And he does love those jokes, and you got to look at it as Vince not only loves their jokes, but he loves to get involved, and he loves to be having fun at the same time those guys are. So I could just see, I don't know if this is the way it went down, but I could see, Vince having the idea, I'm going to close night 2 with Austin, and then give him the big unification match. And that's what works. At least that's what works for him. So
the next matchup, The Miz and Logan Paul, Mr. Celebrity himself, defeat Ray and Dominic Mysterio. And we were kind of saying off air a little bit, Logan Paul's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, he really, really is. And it just goes to show you that if you have a passion for this, have passion for anything like this, you can transfer that, you can translate that, let me say this, to the people when you're in the ring. And Manny was in his hometown or his hometown. He wanted to be a babyface in Cleveland, right? And
Yep.
that was why they did the turn at the end. That's what I read too, whenever it came out. I guess it's smart on his part, but I think he understands being a heel. He knows how to be a heel. And he was having fun out there too. You could tell he was having fun out there, doing the frog splash, doing the leapfrog, doing a split in there, and working with guys like Ray and Dominic. Got to be a blast for him too. So once again, having fun with this is a huge, huge part. And when Mike Tyson came on, you could tell he was in heaven, man. He was enjoying his bit every time he came on. And I think boxers and wrestlers both are looking at each other, kind of, tilting head, saying, "Wait a minute, what's your special sauce?" Well, this is what McDonald's does, and this is what Burger King does. So now we're mixed in here. How do we make this work? And they did it. And I think when somebody sees you having fun out there, like Logan Paul, whether you like him or not, you got to respect the guy for going out there and putting in that kind of performance.
Man, he did this one thing to the camera, and I was like, wow, what a pro. He, slowly turned to the camera and gave some, cocky look and, shrugged his shoulders. I was like, wow, this guy's, a natural heel. He knows what he's doing. He found the camera and everything. Wow.
Well, isn't he an podcaster or influencer?
Yeah.
Whatever. What is this called? An influencer thing. So that was his claim to fame.
Yep.
And so he's making the most out of it. I have no idea what the Pokemon card thing is, but a lot of people obviously do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what I like. Give your paying customers what they want.
Yeah, that's beyond me too, I guess. I mean, he must be a lot younger than me, but I didn't get that. But apparently it's worth $6 million for some reason. So
yeah, I don't know if I'd wear it around my neck at that place, but he did and he lived.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm surprised somebody didn't try to steal it, right? Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. They may have.
Yeah.
You just don't know about it.
And his frog splash was great. Like I was saying off air, saying he nails it better than Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah.
He took it very, very seriously.
Yeah, he was a student of the game. He trained like it was a big fight. It was a big fight. He understood 70,000 people, over 70,000 people were going to be in that arena. So you got to give him props, and I do.
When guys do that, like celebrities come in, some of them take it seriously, some don't. Like, obviously, everyone at WWE would prefer if the guy went all out, trained, and did all this other stuff. Has you ever had to deal with the celebrity aspect? I know a lot of wrestlers and Vince himself, and even Shane McMahon too. But have you ever trained any celebrities?
No. We hello, Eric. The last celebrity part that I was even around, even happened to be not even producing, but just watching the producers producing. was Mayweather and Big Show.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like I understand that everybody understands the concepts, especially a guy like Floyd Mayweather. He understood and he understands selling a big time match. He sold the McGregor fight, and went 7 rounds at least, wasn't it 7? I think. And if he would have knocked anybody out in the first round, people paying $10,000 a seat or whatever they paid for their seats would have been really really pissed. One thing you can guarantee about WrestleMania is the results can be done either way, any way you want them to be done. And I think the same thing can be said for boxing. It's entertainment. Anytime you pay a ticket, it's entertainment. And even when something happens like McGregor breaking his ankle at the bell, at the buzzer, whatever it is, that was a perfectly written script that wasn't perfectly written. It just happened. That was a life moment that is storytelling at its finest and a wrestling storyteller story at best, without even realizing it. It wrote itself. And so everybody knows how to sell a fight as if they know how to sell a fight. The guys who get it will do it. And if the guys don't get it and they want to play it straight and whatever, then that's how it's going to play out. But I think Dana White and everybody else who's trying to draw a house appreciates the more colorful characters. And not Jake Paul, RuPaul, what's his name? Hold on, Logan Paul. Sorry.
Paul.
RuPaul. Anyway, he did take it seriously, and he was in shape. He's been in shape. He's had to box these guys. No matter what you think about the performance, no matter what the circumstances may be, you still have to be in shape because you still have to take some punches. You're still going to take some bumps and bruises along the way. So it's not as easy as it looks, even though these guys, you may think, oh, they're pampered and they're superstars and they think they're in somebody else's world. Granted, they are, but Logan Paul adapted very well, if you ask me.
So the next match up was the Raw Women's Championship match. Bianca Belaire defeated Becky Lynch. What are your thoughts on this one? This was a pretty good match, actually. Bianca Belaire is very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match too, and I like the attitude. I like the walk. Becky Lynch came to the ring. Bianca, I think, has always been impressive, and they had a hell of a match. So I think everybody was under the pressure because it was night 1 versus night 2. Not really, but really, who's going to have the better night? And somebody already mentioned night 2 is better than night 1. Some people will disagree and like the first night, but each night had women's matches, right? Where the second night was the tag match, and they worked hard too. So I thought Becky and Bianca obviously wanted to steal the show, and they came pretty damn close. They really did. They told a good story. They worked hard. There was physical, and you could tell they were into it, and so were the fans.
Bianca seems like she's a step above everybody, just athletically, especially, the women really in the division. But she seems like she's just clearly more athletic than everybody else. I know Becky's a good worker and everything, but it just seems like she's just a level above everyone.
Yeah, Bianca is a tough lady, and you can see that on her face. She's got that nice smile and that look, and at the same time, you can see her physically dominating right now, and she is a great athlete. So it's great to see when somebody succeeds like that, and it's great to see when they're featured and having fun at the same time. So Becky, again, just coming back, working her ass off, and she's another one who's earned respect there. So good for them.
Yeah, and they were saying Becky Lynch, I know she was out 18 months for the baby and stuff, but she hadn't lost in like 3 years or something like that. So that was a big win for Bianca Belaire.
Yeah, and that's the way you do it, man. You come back and pay the favor back and build other stars along the way. I think we're going to see more of that than the selfishness that we've seen in years gone by. But and that could be a huge element that either works great or, deep dives and no recovery. I don't know, man. It's one of those things that it's always been a selfish business, and it's always been something you have to self-promoting business. I meant, and not everybody's going to be on your side, so you have to be on your side and state your case and why you should be the star, and then you have to go back it up. So it's good to see the competition back on the rise and back to where everybody's going to be looking for an advantage one way or another.
And they both got big entrances. Becky came out in a nice Escalade, whatever that was, and Bianca Belair had the band out there. So, they were getting a big entrance treatment too.
As well they should. It's WrestleMania. Make it as big and if not bigger than it really is. I agree with that 100%. I thought it was great. Great production too.
Was Bruce busy this weekend, do you think?
Was he busy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he might have been a little busy this weekend. I haven't talked to him. But I would think he'd be busy. Yeah.
So the next matchup, Seth Rollins is in the ring waiting for his opponent, and we get Cody Rhodes making his re-debut in WWE. He got his AEW music, the way he looked in AEW as far as his ring jacket, everything else. He got the huge entrance. He came up from the ground like he did in AEW. I mean, he was getting the big time. This is a huge star entrance, and he got a huge pop. What do you think about Cody defeating Seth Rollins here in a great match?
I thought it was a very very good match, a great match. And, reading the next day, reading all the stuff that Cody was saying, the most complicated contract in wrestling and all these issues and all these, I got a bus and I got all these things. It's too complicated to talk about though, but I got to tell you a few things and things like that. I get it. So he's laying the groundwork or the landscape for whatever is about to transpire. It's the way I looked at it. I know he wants to win the WWE title because his dad didn't, and I know they talked about the famous match where Dream, puts the belt on, but it was a count out.
Yep.
There's your story, and now Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, one of the top attractions ever in the business, always had a healthy ego. And I'll never forget, he came to, I did a seminar in Charlotte, and he came and stopped by and visited. And I said, would you talk to these guys? Of course he would. And he explained, he says, my whole career, people looked at me and thought, oh, he got a big ego. Oh, he just cared about himself. He's selfish. Well, you got to have a huge ego. You got to have a performer's ego. And that's what he said. I'll never forget how he said it and when he said it. And Cody understands that. And since the time he was 8 years old and he saw these authentic things happening that hit him authentically, and he felt it. Now he's bringing back, and he had the gravitas again to sell it to Vince in his vision. And Vince was open ears, I guess, and whoever else went with him, listened and saw the opportunity here to tell an authentically real father-son story that made sense because Dream still is revered in WWE and at the PC and everywhere, actually, in professional wrestling, and he should be. And now his son, the son of a plumber, is now coming back home. and it just goes to show you, never say never, and hell can always freeze over. It's we just never know. But I thought the entrance, the introduction, the match, the demeanor, I thought it was a great, I don't know if it's perfectly written, but a damn good storyline that people can relate to and people can understand, because you don't have to remember any lies in this. You feel it and it comes from your heart. And when you talk from your heart, people can get that too. And I think Cody's good at doing that. He understands. He learned from the best. So great debut. And I'm anxious. I really am anxious to see how this plays out, because you have a lot of other players to move on the chessboard and things like that. And that's when things get interesting again. I truly feel that. And they knew. How could you not know? It would be big news when you steal one of the EVPs from the opposing company that's not really opposition or not really competition. But yet you took one of their vice presidents, and now he's with you again after he swore never again, the evil empire. No, no, no. No. Here you are. So great storyline, great interest. I think the unpredictability is there, and I'm actually excited about watching how this plays out.
And it's interesting. He had the big promo on Raw the following night. Did well ratings wise too in his quarter hour there. He said it was unscripted, and that he had. I know he jokingly around said he hasn't met one of the writers yet, meaning that they haven't been involved with writing stuff for him. So I guess it's just bullet points, and he kind of just which is great. He's able to have kind of a little free reign, which is awesome.
Well, yeah, that is awesome, and I think he got that. He earned that again by either promising and then delivering, and having the confidence to sell everybody on this idea. So, yeah, Cody's got his promos down. He does know where he stands, and he does know what to say, and he does know how to say it. So, yeah, I do think this is one of the shining moments of the weekend, and I think Seth did a great job doing his part, being a great opponent for Cody when he came back. So that's why I'm interested to see how it plays out. What happens to everybody involved, and even the ones who aren't involved yet. I mean, it's getting interesting again, and that's going to be a lot of fun, I think, for everybody. It really is. Yeah.
Did Dusty talk a lot about how he should have won the title in WWF with that feud with Superstar? Was that brought up ever or no?
No, I asked.
Seems like a big deal to Cody.
No. Well, but Cody was 8 years old when it happened. Dream always wanted to be the world champion. He was the NWA champion, 3 times? So I mean, he accomplished that goal. He was a world champion, no doubt. But the story, Dream told me the story with the no DQ match. I think it was the first match in the Garden, where Superstar was counted out. And the referee was a boxing referee. They had you remember when they used commission boxing referees who had no clue about wrestling. And this guy's counting, and he doesn't know what to count, doesn't know what to do. And Dream says, "Get the belt." And the referee got the belt, and he pulls it out of the referee's hand, put it on me. So he's just buckling it up. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. Dream gets the picture with George Napolitano, Bill Apter, and all the guys at ringside. The next day, he said in the paper, it said Dusty Rhodes defeats Superstar Billy Graham, the new WWF champion. And he said he looked over at Vince as he put the belt on, Vince Sr., and he said he gave him that look like, "You son of a..." And Dream said, okay. He got the pictures done, took the belt off, and told the referee, grab it, take it. But no, he never talked about stuff like that. I should have been the champion. He wasn't like that at all, man. I think he was very, very happy with what he did in his career.
I love the way Cody phrased it, though. The belt that they stole from my daddy in the Garden, like, he's making it mean something there, that he wants to be the world champion.
Because to that extent he truly believes that, and that's great, especially when you believe that's what happened, when you're looking at it from a different angle than everybody else, and at least that's the way I would slant the storyline. So yeah, they stole it from my dad. He worked his heart out just to be the WWF champion, and y'all didn't let it happen. Well, now I'm gonna make it happen or something, whatever the hell it does. So, yeah, I think it's going to be some interesting times ahead, especially with the unified championship now. See how long that lasts. Are there any bets on that? How long the unified championship lasts?
No, but I'm sure there will be. Yeah, because they're just going to be like, and the Raw champion and the Smackdown. They'll do that.
Well, that's
again.
what I mean. The last time when Jericho did that, I don't remember how long it lasted, but it was shortly. When you have 2 different networks, I guess I'm not really sure how that works, but again, I think things are at least getting mixed up and making different colors in the bowl instead of the same old bland vanilla or chocolate or strawberry. Yes. So there you go.
Next up, the SmackDown Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair defeats Rhonda. John Whalen says the Queen carried Rhonda in this one, but Charlotte beats Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, and I looked at Charlotte's face after that match. She was it Matt Burns, or was she scratched up or bruised up pretty good?
I don't know. Might have been Matt Burns. Yeah, it did look like she was in a fight. It looked like for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. She was in a fight with a fighter, and there was your authenticity again. And I was intrigued by it's FanDuel who was taking bets on that, was it? One of
Was
them.
it DraftKings maybe?
DraftKings.
Yeah.
DraftKings. And I'm watching this, and who would bet against Ronda Rousey? Well, some people would. Who would bet against Charlotte? Well, some people would. But the fact that they gave a clean finish, or I guess as clean as you can get, it kept both ladies, I think, standing pretty good. So, yeah, good match. I thought that all the ladies that night had a hell of a night and really put out a hell of a performance.
They were saying, I don't know if this is true or not, but there's a rumor out there. It's kind of two different sides of the story that Ronda Rousey walked out of the Hall of Fame the night before when she found out she wasn't the main event of night one, that she was pissed. Another story came out that isn't true, but that's interesting. But the real main event obviously turned out to be Stone Cold Steve Austin defeating Kevin Owens. And if Austin is wrestling, there's no way he's not the main event. So sorry, Ronda Rousey. You got to move out of the way for Stone Cold Steve Austin's return.
Well, yeah, and I'm sorry if she got upset, but I'm sure she calmed down later on. I mean, She came out and they did do a hell of a performance. So yeah.
Were you surprised to see Stone Cold wrestling? I was, because they didn't advertise, they didn't promote him as wrestling.
Well, I think that's one of those things where you say you never know what's going to happen on WrestleMania weekend, so you don't want to miss it, man. I think that's a great thing to have, where people go, "Oh, damn, I didn't order it. I didn't know he's going to wrestle." Well, see, you don't know, so you might want to make sure you have everything covered. And to go 20 minutes and take a suplex on the floor too, more power to Steve. But I understand when you have something to still prove to yourself. The last match was against The Rock. He was done. His neck is done. he's earned a life of at least taking care of himself. And to work with a guy like Kevin Owens 20 minutes and to go out there and just perform a hell of a performance says a lot about Steve. It still says a lot about how intoxicating the crowd is, and just watching Steve walk the stage and go back and forth. I mean, it's really cool, and it still gives me goosebumps, like the Undertaker's entrance. I used to like to go out in the arena and watch it, listen to it, because that's something, if you never experienced, I'm sorry, because for a wrestling fan or for someone who loves the game and loves the business, that's cool. When the glass breaks with Steve Austin, man, there's no one else to this day that matches that. So that was very, very cool to see. And I bet you Kevin Owens was ecstatic, no doubt.
Man, how lucky is Owens? Think about that. Like, Austin gets to come out of retirement. Punk was begging for it. Cena, I mean, all these guys were begging for years. If you could. Man, Owens is so lucky to be in that spot. And he did. And I'm not an Owens fan. I thought he did great.
Yeah. I think he knows he's fortunate to be in that spot and made the best of it. And Stone Cold was having a blast. You could tell. You could look at him and just see he was having a great time. And I'm sure Byron Saxton, beforehand, hey man, please give me a stunner at the end. And he called him in, gave him a stunner. That's really what it's about at the end of the day. Even though you're going to get a hell of a payday, that's a huge part of it. But man, you get to go in the ring and have fun and in front of 70,000 people. Not too many human beings get to do that. But Byron Saxton's a great guy and he deserves it. And last time when he did the stuff with Steve at the PC, you got to do that part. But now we justify it. Now we go out and do it in front of a hell of a crowd. So I thought it was great for everybody, man. I had a good feeling about it when I watched the first night and went to bed. Got to tell you, I was wondering how they were going to follow it the second night.
Yeah, and he had the beer wet bash with the new Stone Cold Steve Austin American Lager,
How
which
about
I
that?
went to a couple liquor stores and they were sold out. So yeah, it might be hard to be getting these. I guess it's getting over. It's getting popular, this beer.
Well, he's been over, and I think the
Oh
beer's
yeah,
been
yeah.
popular for a while, man. It's been out for a little
Well,
bit.
the American Lager is new.
Oh,
Beforehand,
lager.
he had the IPA beforehand. So this is a little bit of, I guess, different. I mean, obviously it's different, but just a new flavor of his beer that he's got.
You know, you know, he stayed. Stone Cold Steve Austin actually stayed at a place called the Congress Inn in Nashville, Tennessee. And I'm thinking it was maybe, I don't know, $75 a week, maybe $100 a week. Um, the cockroaches were about same size as Steve sometimes. Uh, yeah. So he had paid his dues. This guy has paid his dues and done everything in the business, and one of the biggest stars, certainly one of the top two biggest stars. I know you have Hogan in there too, but I'm talking about Rock and Austin during that time period in WWE. Um, to be able to translate into the two top money drawers in WWE and big stars on their own, uh, still to this day doing commercials, doing movies, wherever you go. It's good to see when they come out and still appreciate professional wrestling and still have the love for it and still get off on what it is. So that was a lesson for a lot of young guys to see how Austin has never done a moonsault. I get it, I understand. But at the same time, my point is, it's not what you do; it's how you do what you do. Perfect study right there. And you watch Steve; everything he did meant something. Kevin Owens did a hell of a job too. So, yeah, first night was great.
Then, how could they top it? Night 2 was pretty good too. RK Bro in the first match defeated Alpha Academy and the Street Profits to retain the Raw Tag Team Championship. I thought this was pretty good. A lot of good spots, a lot of high spots, and the finish was nice. I mean, the crowd went nuts for the finish.
Yeah, yeah. Once again, I mean, you have guys who know each other, mesh well together, have great chemistry, and I think it was they were throwing the gauntlet down. So follow that, and they did a great job following it. They did a great job keeping the pace going all night long. So I agree with you, and I'm again talking about having it grow on you. Arcade Bro has grown on me to where I kind of like Randy's porn stash and Riddle's just being Riddle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was very good.
Next up, Bobby Lashley defeated Omos. A little short and sweet match. Honestly, for what it was, I know people are saying, oh, it wasn't that good, but I didn't mind. It wasn't that bad for what it was. And it was just to show that Lashley's basically, a freak. He could suplex the guy, he could spear the guy, and gave him his first loss in over a year. I guess maybe the first loss of his career, really.
Right.
But, I thought it was good for what it was. And it's, you get Lashley a nice little, nice little spot on the card where it makes him shine.
Right. And I think almost also is about to get a nice place on the card to
Yeah, with
learn
MVP.
how to shine, learn how to be dominant, and that's part of the process too, especially at a big show like this. Let's have you do a job. Let's see how you do it, and you were going to learn from there. And it's a great opportunity for him. And I think, especially these days, the guys understand it better nowadays, what the building process is, whereas before some guys didn't want to lose right away, and he hasn't lost right away, but he understands you got to lose to know how to win. You got to have different emotions, you got to go through different scenarios, and so it's a learning process, and I am glad to see them put Bobby Lashley in there with guys like that, because I've always liked Bobby Lashley and always thought he was multi-talented. I really did.
Then they have the Anything Goes match. Johnny Knoxville defeats Sami Zayn. Match went almost 15 minutes, but I thought it was pretty damn good, very entertaining, and the crowd was loving every minute of it.
Yeah, I hate to be a broken record saying the same thing, but it was entertaining, and it was one of those things. If you know the Jackass movies, then you know what to expect, and I expected that. I didn't know we're going to get a giant hand and the kicking the ball things and everything, but that for what it was, it fit, and um, it had its place on the card. It was WrestleMania, so you're going to do things that are out of the box and have people looking at it going, oh my God, the Jackass guys are on. And then you better give them some time, because if they bought the pay-per-view just for that or haven't subscribed to the Peacock network yet, and I would think some people ordered it just for the
Yeah.
Jackass guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you gotta give them credit. And they, man, Johnny Knoxville is a nut, no doubt about it. But he's actually taking the blows. He's actually doing the stupid stuff. You got to respect him for that. I respect people who do stupid stuff for the sake of art and ridiculousness. I just did, because the Wee Man slamming Sami Zayn and the other guys. I don't know the whole everybody's name, but I just know that for what their part was to be, they carried it out really, really nicely.
Then the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Sasha Banks and Naomi defeated Queen Zelina and Carmella, who were the champions going in, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, and Shayna Baszler and Natalya Neidhart.
Yes. Now, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
How long has it been since Carmella has been wearing the mask?
Probably 6 months or so, maybe a little longer.
What brought it on? Did they explain this at all? Did she say she has some makeup on, or
So basically, she said she's the most beautiful woman in all of WWE, and that she wants to cover her face to make sure she doesn't get hurt in the match or scratched or anything. So she puts the mask to cover her face and guard her face from any sort of injury to the beautiful face of hers. Is basically what she said.
It makes perfect sense to me. That's fine. I haven't seen a masked women's wrestler in a long time.
Yeah,
and for this day and age to have her, because I was watching with someone who said, who's the chick in the mask? And I had to look, and then I realized, and somebody said Carmella on commentary, and I hadn't seen what brought that up. But it makes perfect sense that she's going to cover her beauty and not get scratched and things like that. That's a way of making something meaningful, and then when you need it, if you need it, it's there if you know how to use it. So that's fantastic. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But she was distracted, John, and it didn't bode well for her team.
No. Match was pretty good, though. I mean, the crowd was pretty into it, and obviously all the girls really tried hard. They want to do some crazy spots. I thought it was funny. I thought Ripley took some bumps that she maybe shouldn't have because she's so big, but she did anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. But once again, I think on something like that, when you have the women who worked on this and they wanted to make sure they had another spot at WrestleMania next year, knew give and take and understood, hey, we're going to make you look good. I'm going to make you look even better. And the back and forth like that, because I think it's not only a competition about having the best match, but going out there and having a competition with who's going to work together better. And that's always healthy too. And yeah, I got to agree. They had a great match, and that's hard to pull off.
Edge defeated AJ Styles with a little bit of help from Damian Priest. But this was a pretty good match. Not great. I almost thought it could rival Cody versus Seth Rollins, but I don't think it got as good as that match got.
Yeah, I don't know the build-up there either, but you did see AJ bleeding as he came down the ring, right? Came down the ramp.
Yeah, the pyro got him, yeah.
Yeah, I think. Well, they said it was the sharp edge of the star on the stage, where you said Duck, he got cut before he came down, and it wasn't pyro necessarily. It was just the
okay.
the stage.
Oh, I thought it might have been the pyro. Okay.
Yeah. Well, but once again, they're going to have the match they're going to have, and it was nothing more than or less than spectacular because they know how to work. I loved Edge's entrance, and I love the fact that these guys go out and they give you a different kind of match. The ending, Damian Priest, I think it would be it's going to be interesting to see how Edge and guys like Damian Priest, because they're both about the same height, and he gets guys his size as his clique or his crew. It's going to be very interesting to see how they can, roll the dice out like this and put everybody where they need to be in Edge's new crew or whatever he's going to be calling it. So that was cool to see. AJ Styles never disappoints, and but you're right. I don't know if it was that much of a featured match. I saw the highlights. I saw what they showed where the concerto came in, and Edge had been obviously a complete asshole. So,
yeah.
But once again, you had two guys that knew how to work and could pull it off.
Sheamus and Ridge Holland with Butch in their corner defeated the New Day of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. This was actually a makeup because it was supposed to be on night one. It got cut due to time constraints, so they put it on night two. And you could tell because it's only about a 2-minute basically squash match. And for Sheamus and Ridge Holland to get the win, you could tell they almost rushed it here too because it wasn't in the original plan. And they kind of just, boom, New Day's in there. And it's funny, I thought New Day may win because, the story of Big E breaking his neck and all this other
Right.
stuff. No, boom, they get squashed, and they keep on pushing Sheamus and Ridge.
Well, keep the heat on the heels, no doubt. And, I think Sheamus has become a very good mentor to both of those guys. And I hate to keep repeating myself again, but I'm curious as to where they're going to go with this. And I saw he was Pete Dunne, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, as Butch. And I was trying to figure out what the story was. And he's just that fighting guy that hard to control, that Spitfire, the guy who's going to be swinging and punching and kicking and all that good stuff. Okay. So how do you make that work? Well, you find a way. You find a way. You think about it. You talk about it. You study and come up with some good ideas. So they got a lot of good talent right there. Still, good talent that's been around for a while and keeps reinventing themselves to where people care again or care even more. I think, and I think I like Sheamus' style and I like what he's doing with these guys.
Next up, Pat McAfee, the announcer, defeats Austin Theory. Pretty good match. Pat McAfee is pretty damn athletic. I remember seeing his match with Adam Cole in NXT, and I was more impressed with him than Adam Cole in the match.
Yeah.
And I know he's Rip Rogers trained, and he takes it very seriously, and he's a great athlete. Despite being a punter, he's a great athlete. I was pleasantly surprised with this match.
I was too. I really was too. And you got to give it to Pat because he is a fan, and he did train down with Rip Rogers, and anybody who's trained with Rip Rogers knows the system, knows the style, knows what you're getting into. And if you don't know what you're getting into, you find out pretty damn quick. So, and I can appreciate that style of coaching, and I think so can Pat McAfee. So yeah, he took it seriously, very seriously, and appreciated the fact that he was on WrestleMania. I think he was grateful, and it showed. So yeah, they did a hell of a job.
Then after that, Mr. McMahon himself, who was at ringside with Austin Theory, his protege, if you will, he comes in. Pat McAfee challenges him to a match, and Mr. McMahon ends up, of course, by cheating. But Mr. McMahon in WrestleMania ends up getting a win over Pat McAfee. Again, they didn't promote that Vince was going to wrestle. Maybe they should have.
No. I think it worked better. No, I think it worked better this way because it is that unpredictability, that element of surprise, and oh my God, guess what we got to see, and so next year maybe or the next or subsequent. WrestleMania is in the future. How's this? Where people want to get it because you don't know what's going to happen. You're putting some more unpredictability into it instead of, this is going to happen. Oh God, it's so boring. And so now, here comes Vince, beats Pat McAfee, and now he's going to get his ass kicked by Stone Cold Steve Austin and those lucky 70,000 people, 70,000 plus people. We're there to personally witness it, and you need to get your tickets early next year too. So,
yeah, it's one of the things too. If you're there, you're loving it because Austin goes back out, another big pop, another beer bash, beats up Austin Theory, who took a great stunner, followed by what we were kind of saying before, an absolutely terrible stunner by Vince. Not Austin's fault, obviously Vince's fault. And then it's
Yeah,
just funny that then Pat McAfee gets a stunner, which was great. And then he kept drinking
yeah.
and spitting out the beer after the stunner. But those two were great, and then Vince's stunner not so much.
But the fact that it was Vince and the fact that he didn't take a great stunner, even to me, colors it in better. It really, really does, because Vince is not going to be that athletic guy that can take that big bump. But he is Vince, and there's only one Vince, and everybody knows that. And as horrible as it might have looked, he still got him, and they still got their pop. So, man, I thought it was great. I really did. I'm not looking at the aesthetics as much as I am as the vibe when he took it, and the people in the arena that they popped, and that's what you're going after. And even Steve was just laughing, going, "That motherfucker," and hitting on the beer on the corner. So, yeah. So
Good
I thought,
moment.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good moment. Very good WrestleMania moment. Yes.
Perfect WrestleMania moment, really. And then obviously the beer bash again. But of course, the crowd was super into Austin and surprised he came out for night 2 because they thought night 1 was it. So they got it, he got an even bigger pop. It was just really, really good stuff there with Vince and Austin.
Yeah, it made sense to stay over for a weekend in Dallas. I mean, you're back home, you're back where you started, and then you come in and you get to be a big star, and you get to stun Vince McMahon at the end of the night. Yeah, can't lose, man. And again, I still think Steve has a passion for the business, and he loves and appreciates the approach that it took, because he's from the old school too, but he understands yesterday, it ain't yesterday no more. And he understands that. But if you bring a bit of nostalgia with you, by God, bring it with somebody who can do it and do it right. And I think Steve's the guy.
Do you like the fact that they don't announce stuff and there's going to be surprises? Like you were saying, that's good for next year. Is that good for this year, though, the people on Peacock?
Yes. I truly do, because it gives you something extra and you're not expecting it. And then when you see it, you're going, oh, my God, this is great. And you're getting that extra. I truly love that stuff, man. I love when you go somewhere and you get an added surprise. You never know what you're going to get at WrestleMania. And as they say, we put smiles on people's faces. Not every people's face. No, don't get that wrong. But that's the goal, is to go out, and when you come and see a show, man, they under average, or what is it? Under promise and over deliver.
Yep.
So I think that's the thing you don't always do intentionally, but sometimes that is the intent. And I think with Vince, beating Pat McAfee, and then all of a sudden here comes Austin and say, oh, no, you're still getting your ass kicked. I mean, why wouldn't you pop? I mean, just giving you something, some cherries on top and whipped cream.
Yeah, very true. Because you got obviously Austin wrestling. You didn't know that going in. Vince wrestling, you didn't know that going in. And you didn't know who Seth Rollins' mystery partner or opponent was, and it ended up being Cody. So, that's 3 pretty big surprises there.
Yes, and I think WrestleMania should strive to do that every year, is to again, under promise and over deliver, man. Just have people walking away going, oh, my God, it was so great. And let me tell you why, because you didn't know who was coming out next, and you didn't know what was going to happen. You even though you were sure, you really weren't sure by the end of the night. So anything could happen. That's the cool thing about it, I think.
And then, of course, the main event of the evening for the WWE and Universal Championship in a unification match in a winner-take-all, biggest match of all time, the biggest match ever in the history of WrestleMania. Roman Reigns defeats Brock Lesnar. I liked this match. I thought it was good. I almost thought it could have been a little longer and a little bit bloodier, because if you remember the build-up, they're at MSG and Lesnar's bleeding and Lesnar promises blood for Reigns. So I thought there was going to be some blood involved, which there wasn't. But still a good match. I liked it.
Right. So did I hear or read this where they said Roman might have actually dislocated his shoulder or pulled something out, or I either read that or somebody told me that.
Yeah, that's what I read online. But he was able to raise his arm at the end, which made me kind of think like maybe he was just working. It wasn't really
Maybe
dislocated.
That's what I thought originally too when someone said that. So, yeah, I thought it was a little flat at the end too. Or yeah, maybe not flat, but at least could have had a couple more shotgun steps in there.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be a little longer. Yeah.
Yeah. So either way, though, again, it was Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and
And he beat him very straight up. There wasn't
yeah,
really much controversy there.
no
Yeah.
controversy. Just the fact that he lost at WrestleMania, and not very controversial. It's just the fact that on that night, the tribal chief was victorious, and it made sense. It really did. And I thought, again, the people who'd been there both nights had to be exhausted, but had just had their fill
Yep.
of some of the greatest matches for this era. So I thought overall WrestleMania was definitely a success. Certainly at the box office, but as far as performances too, everybody turned in a hell of a match, hell of a performance.
Did you like night 1 better or night 2?
Well, I don't know if I'm leaning one way or the other, but if I was going to have to pick, I thought, let's say, I would say just due to the aura of the greatest match ever and the greatest WrestleMania ever, and Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar is the end all be all, which that's not true. We're going to have the same thing happen again and again and again. But I thought night 2 capped it off very well. And just the fact that Austin got to stun Vince, and it was such a horrible stunner that people were making fun of it and having a good time with it, knowing all the while Vince doesn't really care as long as you're talking about it.
Yep.
So that was cool, and I like to see it a send off like that. So and the main event with Lesnar and Reigns, they, as short as it might have gone, and it could have gone a few notes longer, but they got the story across, they got the point across. Roman Reigns is the universal champion, right? Or they're calling
Unified. I think unified WWE and Universal Champion, something like that.
Something like that. So there's your period. And I didn't see Monday night. I heard about Cody's promo.
Yep.
But now they're working towards next year and along the way, what's going to happen.
Yep.
That's the intrigue for me. And I think that's the intrigue for a lot of fans watching right now.
So would you grade the show overall, like A, B? What would you say?
Yeah, I would certainly give it an A, maybe even an A+.
Wow.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it's... I haven't talked to anybody who said it was a horrible show.
No.
So definitely an A. Certainly an A. They did a great job, in my opinion.
All right, let's talk about your book, A Pro Wrestling Curriculum Advice, Suggestions, and Stories to help the aspiring pro get to the next level. Dr. Tom, where can they get this awesome book?
You can get that awesome book at our website at jpwrestlingacademy.com or yes, .com. jpwrestlingacademy.com. Just click on the box. It'll take you to, I believe, Amazon, and you can order. You can also order it PayPal. And I can get you a signed copy for $25. And just email me at jpwrestlingacademy@gmail.com, and I can send you the information there as well.
Also, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. Check out the website, tmptempire.com. You can follow Dr. Tom at Dr. Tom Prichard on Twitter. Dr. Tom also on Pro Wrestling Tees. You go to his store or the JPWA store, ProWrestlingTees.com. Dr. Tom, what else you got going on? Anything good?
Well, we are in our first week of JPWA Spring 2022. So we will be finishing up Friday in Sweetwater, Tennessee with Joe Kazana Promotions. This new class of 11 people, I believe, are going to get to come and watch some good East Tennessee wrestling on Friday night in Sweetwater and get a taste for what's around here and have some fun along the way. So that's what's going on this week. But Hopefully we'll have some news as we come along with things that are happening, taking place, and some changes, some new things, and interesting people hoping to stop by.
Nice. Great stuff. As always, Dr. Tom. I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for listening and watching and sending in some questions. We'll see you right back here next week for a little Taking to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. We'll see you next week, folks.